I've got to go we've decided to hold off on doing the kitchen floor just yet because we're doing the bathroom, getting that painted before we put the sink and the toilet back in. We want to have a working sink and stuff in here and water before we take out the kitchen. Now I've got to go in the crawl space under the house here. This part of the house, I've got a dip in here, so I may need to jack up the floor here and put some other floor joists. The way this house is there's a main beam or concrete divider that this wall is sitting on. So the floor joist is attached here and go across. So we'll see what's going on underneath there. Okay, so we have a similar problem. We're finding these things out, of course, because you couldn't get in this space because there was so much stuff in here. But we have the floor that is dropping here to the center. It's really, really low here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look up into the house and see if we can actually get in under the house here to work on it. What we may have to do is, hopefully the floor joists aren't broken. Part of the problem is this house, when they built it, it was like 2x6s, which were stronger, of course, than the 2x6s of today. But the thing is over time, they'll bow and sag. So what I'm hoping is that the 2x6s are in good shape, and if we can open up the floor, maybe we can end up sistering in another piece from above, or if we can get up underneath of there, we can crawl up underneath there and get there as well. So let's go outside and take a look and see what we've got to work with. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay. Any of y'all claustrophobic? This is the crawl. Okay. Wow. So, down here, we've got more space to work with. And I can see I've got a cracked beam right there in that room that we can sister a piece in and fix that one. It looks like, okay, so we've discovered something here. This must have been the original part of the house because I can see the tongue and groove boards on here. This is not laid with the other boards underneath of it. But that over there, those are the ones that are sagging. It looks like they're in okay shape, but there's not a lot of room to get up underneath of there to work with. So I think what we're going to have to do, or the best thing to do, is we'll go through, we'll cut open the floor, and we'll try and work from above. I'm a little too old and too big to be trying to come in and out of here. It's not what I want to do, but it's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do it right. Fortunately, we have some plywood in here so we can go through and patch it back up, and we'll just basically take out like a 4x8 section. That'll give us enough room that we can go through. And what we'll do is we'll end up to shore it up. All right, so we've discovered something. It originally was antique heart pine flooring that was down, and then they put this white oak floor over top of it. And we can see right here, it's cracked right there. It looks like somebody well, I don't know if that was just a little spacer piece they put in there. Well, that's definitely loose. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take up the flooring in here, and then we can sister in some longer pieces to and we'll jack it up so that's way it's back to level, and we'll cross tie it together with this. So more than likely, the next one is probably that way as well. And you can see the problem we have here. There is no space whatsoever to crawl through. Okay, so here's my dilemma here. They originally framed this up, and you can see with 2x6s. The 2x6s, it's about 12 feet across here. Problem is, we have walls that we can't take out, and we go down under here, There's not a lot of space to work with. We've got the old pipes and stuff that are dealing here, and it's going to be very difficult to get one in all of the way. So here's what I'm thinking we're going to do. Since I've got a little space up under here on that portion, we'll dig it out a little bit more, and what we're going to do is we're going to sister up on both sides of these 2x6s, and we're going to let them run wild over there on the other side, and then we'll put another beam underneath of it. And the reason to put one 2x6 on each side is, one, I can keep this consistent. Two, that'll also take and bring these floor joists closer together, because right now they're 24-inch on centers. At least I'll take 3 inches off of each side, and that'll bring it a little bit closer together, and then there's 2 layers of plywood. And if I put this beam in here, it's only 8 foot across. That'll end up supporting this wall up here, and it'll keep us from having to take that up, and we'll be able to jack up the bow that's in here. Yeah, not ideal, but it's what we've got. It's all we've got. There's no other way to get this together. So we're gonna cut out these old pipes that are in here that aren't being used, so we have some space to work. And we're gonna end up having to leave the pieces that are here, and bring this up and put a main beam. What that'll do is it'll end up basically taking the weight from the wall that's pushing down on these out, and we'll be able to use the jack this up and put some solid foundation up underneath of it, and that'll be the best way to try and make this work. Oh, boy, yeah, don't like being up under a house. Okay, so here's what we've done so far. We've taken out all of the boards on a new sill plate over there where it's rotted out. We cut out the rotted board that was in there, and we have this doubled up. And what we've done is we've actually gone back through here, we've cross-nailed where it's good, and temporarily we have this up here for support. Now what we're going to do eventually is we have a 6x6 that we're going to put up underneath of this where this wall is, and we're going to end up getting this thing so that way it's going to help take that load of this load-bearing wall and transfer it to the ground. We'll put cement and stuff up underneath of it to hold it there. So what we're going to do, you can see where we've got our next one. We're going to put one on this side, one on that side. We're able to put a 2x4 up underneath of it and then jack it up so that way we can get the floor level, and we'll go through and we'll do that on each one of these, and then we'll get the 6x6 up underneath of it, and we'll be able to attach it, put the piers that need to go on there, and that will keep this thing tight as wax. And you can see we've already started to make progress here with it. So I've got to get back up underneath here. There's a pipe that's in the way I got to cut, and we're bringing in the lumber here through the window, sliding it under, and then pulling it back and tightening it up. So as bad as it looked, and considering we just started this a few hours ago and having gone to pick up more materials, we're actually doing pretty good. We may not get that much more of this done tonight because it's going on 7, but we'll definitely have this floor laid tomorrow, and then we'll deal with the kitchen next. Whew. Okay, so you can see what we're doing here. We've gotten this one right here. We'll put another one on this side. We'll end up putting a 2x4 and nailing it together to keep the two of them together, and it's going to act like scissors closing, or, well, two-bladed scissors closing up against it. We'll cross nail it in here when it's done. We'll put a couple of cinder blocks here to hold it temporarily until we are able then to put in our main beam underneath of it, and we'll work our way down on each one of these, and that way this will then take the load right here. So the 2x6s, the doubled up ones, are only having to carry the load for 8 feet, and this being a 3rd bedroom, a very small one, it's basically kids that are in here. It'll be more than fine with it up there. You can actually do framing with 2x6s, I think 10'6", 10'6" is, I think, the maximum that you can go. Although you will have a little bit of play. This is doubling it up, and we're ending up putting a few extra in here. So I think it'll be fine. Whew. All right. Get the next one in the window and get that one set up here. And then we'll put our 2x4 up underneath of it. That'll hold them together when we jack it up. Get the level and check and see if it's level with the other one. Close. A little bit more. We'll be there. Oh, is that as far as you go? Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. We're dead on level. So we'll support this temporarily. We'll cross nail this together. And then we'll go on down to the next one. All right, so here's what we've started doing. Actually, with the 2x6 sill plate here, I've gone through and actually put another 2x6 here for the flooring. So we're gonna be able to slide the plywood underneath of it. Now, what you'll notice is the floor, because they originally had 1x5s, and then the wood flooring is why we have 1.5 inches. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna put another spacer piece on top of these, and we're gonna cut our floor joists so that way they are 3/4 of an inch taller than what that is. So that way it'll be able to have the plywood just that one level in here. So the other thing we're doing, bless you, so we actually are cutting some of the sill plate here that's not in good shape. So what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to rest the 2x10s on the concrete. So that way it'll be stronger. So we're gonna go through here, start cutting these down and getting them fit for each of these. So we'll get all these across, then we'll be able to drop that plywood. So you say you want to own real estate and you want it to be profitable. Go for rental properties and things. Well, if you want it to be profitable, you best be able to know how to do a lot of the work yourself. And the biggest thing they say about real estate is buy the worst house you can in the best neighborhood you can find. Yeah, because there's a reason to that. Because you can do a lot to increase the value of a home. And today, it's getting harder and harder to find homes. You would think that with the Fed raising interest rates, that it would slow down the market, but it's actually going to have the opposite effect, at least in the short term, because now people are going to panic. They're going to say, they're going to be raising the interest rates. It's better for me to spend a little bit more money now and get a good interest rate and lock that sucker in. So the frenzy, you're going to see the immediate bump right now of the prices go up. And then as more and more of the rates go up, then you're going to see it start to come down some, and then the prices will probably come down. But if you're looking at rentals, well, the rental market, either way, is going to continue to go up. And there is truly a need for rental housing. I am in the crawl space, and this is actually a little bit more space over here where I'm working than over there where I was working. Unfortunately, I had to rip up the subflooring in there so that way we could put the new beam up underneath their support, putting in some more floor joists and things, and that's what I'm doing now. But the reality is if you're buying real estate, if you got to fix it up, that's actually a good thing, because that means you're hopefully buying it low, unless you ended up buying something sight unseen because you were desperate, and then you find out it's a money pit. For me, the good news is I can fix anything. And that way I don't have to have margins that are as wide, because to do what I'm doing over here would be several thousands of dollars if you can find somebody at this time to do it. Me, I opened up the floor there yesterday. As soon as I fix these, putting a couple extra in here on the other part to kind of be proactive as opposed to reactive, I won't have to worry about it for another 25 years. Then I can close that up and get up out of there. So that's what I'm doing. Lots of cobwebs. Yeah. Real estate. It's glamorous.